For a few months now, Rebecca, my wife, has been telling me I really need to do a video on fear. I don't really know what's going to come out here, but let's see what happens. She considers it to be one of the most important videos I'd ever do. And the reason for that is that fear usually plays such a powerful role in shaping our lives. And it holds us back from so much. What I'm talking about when I talk about fear is chronic fear. I call it chronic fear as opposed to acute fear. Acute fear is that fear of a 700-pound bear as it charges towards you, and that fires up your fight or flight response, and it serves a purpose. But chronic fear is a fear that is always sort of running in the background. And it affects all aspects of our life. Chronic fear might not even feel like fear to a lot of people. In fact, we know it by some other names. Anxiety, frustration, stress. If you're living in the world of, in the corporate world, it's that feeling. Squirrel thinks I'm talking a little bit too loudly. It's that feeling of tightness that you get when you have that big presentation tomorrow. And we just call it stress. But that is born out of fear. Fear of what other people are going to think of us. Fear of how this would affect our career. Fear, it's running invisibly in the background. And for a lot of people that I work with, I get to see them. They have passions. They have ideas. They have all these creative things that want to come out of them and how they want to interact with life. But that fear holds them back from trying these things. You know if you have fear operating in your life. It feels like a tension. It will manifest if you're going to go talk to somebody important and you're feeling that tightness. It manifests if you have children and you start to feel frustrated. That comes from a very subtle sense of fear often of what they're going to turn out like or how they are respecting or not respecting you as a parent. The first step in transforming how fear operates in our life is to become aware of that. To start to notice that tension sensation. It actually has I keep doing this because it has a physical correlate. You feel it inside of you. It feels like a tightness in your chest or in your throat. Sometimes people will feel it like in their shoulders or their temples. But for all of us, there's a physical correlation between that emotion of fear and our bodily sensations. So becoming aware of it whenever it's operating. No shame in feeling fear. We are taught this really, really well. And it's operating in almost all of us in a powerful way. So shed that aside. You don't have to be afraid of being afraid. Feeling wherever it's operating, and then there's one little magic method that I'm going to give you that can start to transfer form in your life and make a huge difference. Okay, here's the secret. Fear has what we might call an opposite inside of us, and that is curiosity. And curiosity is a natural emotion that all of us have inside of us, but it becomes suppressed in our cultural training and replaced with fear. The cool thing about curiosity is that it looks at a situation and it doesn't start making up stories about all the bad things that could happen or even all the good things that can happen. Pure curiosity is just a feeling of wondering. A feeling of wondering without having that end goal story attached. So what I mean is just being immersed in the curiosity. So I'm going to use a fake example of Rebecca because this is totally not her personality. She's an amazingly self-realized person who this would not apply to. But let's pretend she comes home and I see her slam the car door and she walks towards the house. Right away, I could feel fear. It's that sense of of tightness, of resistance. Okay? I'm not talking about guys out there like, oh, are you afraid of your wife? What I'm talking about is that feeling of tension that comes up when you see that approach and you're getting ready to counter. You've already made a judgment, right? Like, something must have been gone really bad in her day, and she's going to take it out on me. Oh my gosh. And, you're already braced and ready for a fight out of that fear response. You see how this shapes the situation? Now, rewind. I see the car door slam. Instead, I go straight into curiosity. Pure curiosity. I'm not starting to think, okay, well, I wonder if something like happened at work. I wonder if a friend of hers got mad at her, or I'm not making up any stories. I just go purely into that sensation of curiosity. When she opens the door and comes in, I can meet her with total open arms and a total approach of, for instance, what are you feeling? Would you like to share it? And that, as you can see, gives a very different setup to the situation than she opens the door and I'm like, what is it now? Okay? So, two very, very different ways. If you have children, this works magic. Instead of judging what the situation is, why they're upset, why they're throwing a tantrum, you approach with pure curiosity. If you're giving that presentation tomorrow at work, you're purely curious about how people are going to accept it. You don't need it to look a certain way then. Curiosity, the secret behind it is that it invokes play. And play is something that almost all of us as adults have forgotten how to do. But when we remember how to play, and we use curiosity as the entrance into play, then life transforms because we're not scared. We're not fear-based anymore. We're approaching everything in life with that open sense of wonder. And then, the tricky thing is that because we're approaching things like that, we will often see situations shift for the better, just because we're approaching with curiosity and wonder. If you approach a situation with fear and stress, it's basically going to rise up to meet you, all right? Especially if it involves other people. Because when other people see a clenched fist, they're ready with a clenched fist. When they see an open hand, it gets kind of hard to keep that fist clenched. It's that simple. So the tool I use is the wonder tool. And all you do is anytime, remember the first step was to notice when you're feeling that tension or fear. Whenever you notice that, you stop, whatever you're doing, and you see, oh, I'm in a fear-based place. And you look at the object of the fear. Okay, Rebecca coming in after slamming the car door. And I shift to wonder. put a smile on your face, get into curiosity, and say this: I wonder. And it doesn't have to be, I wonder what's wrong, I wonder anything else, just I wonder. And use those words, I wonder, to invoke curiosity. And then when you do interact with people, show them that you are genuinely curious. You're genuinely full of wonder. You're genuinely interested without judgment. This is magical. It will do amazing things. If you want to give it a try, I would love to hear your experiences or your thoughts about it. If you don't think it'll work, tell me where you see fear in your life and where you may have tried curiosity and wonder and seen it make a difference. Thanks for watching as always. And special thanks to Rebecca, who never slams the car door and who inspired me to make this video.